This is GT with the Vibe Podcast coming at you with another episode. I'm going to talk about a couple different things. So it's going to all evolve around society, culture, and its impact on dating and relationships. So we're going to talk about societal changes, cultural changes, and how they have impacted relationships. And so I guess I'll start off with the culture around relationships and the changes from the past. So it used to be that you could men worked, obviously that was the goal. Men worked, women kind of took care of the home, took care of the kids. Dinner was ready. That's back when a 9-to-5 job actually worked. So you'd have women, they'd be home, husband would come home, kick his shoes off, food be ready to go, dinner's ready, and then kind of wind down for the night, right? So economical changes and societal changes have affected the way the balance of relationships. So now it's harder to have a one income home than what it used to be. And so now women are expected to work, or they do work, men work too. So then you kind of balance out home life, who does what, who's in charge of what. Typically working opposite shifts, so you may not see each other much. You see each other in passing. And I feel like the economical changes have definitely affected relationships. Kind of created it's kind of a void in like personable time where you can have time with your partner. It's harder. It's kind of like you have to schedule time with your partner because of a lot of the economic changes. And then you add in societal changes. So it used to be where everything was more personable. Even from a phone standpoint, when phones used to be wired in, you probably didn't talk on the phone as much. You had to go talk to them in person, or you had to spend more time in person. So you were more present than you are nowadays. Like nowadays, it's less present. You're not as present as you used to be. And those are because of societal changes. And so as we got into the digital age, everything became easy to get at your fingertips. People tend to migrate toward that more than they do the normal ways and the normal means of making basically getting personal time and having personal relationships with people. And so as we strive to kind of push forward and try to do better, we look at some of the issues that causes in a relationship. And so now you have relationships where people are more distant from each other, so there's not a whole bunch of interaction, a whole bunch of personal interaction. You notice that more in the millennials, some of the younger age. A lot of the older age people, they don't even really know how to use technology as much. Even me at my age, I'm starting to get to the point where I feel like that old person that is struggling to use technology a lot. And so I can see how those things have definitely affected people's relationships. You add on top of that, how people get in relationships and start dating nowadays is different. Used to be you'd meet somebody somewhere, have conversation with them. Nowadays, it's a friend of mine told me, dude comes up and asks, man, what is your Snapchat? And I guess that's how you flirt nowadays or something like that. It's kind of weird to me that you wouldn't want to have a conversation. How are you? What's your name? Kind of like a nice to meet you, like you're introducing yourself to somebody. They don't want to do that anymore. It's all quick, and everybody wants to get to digital immediately. So it's like, hey, let me get your phone number, or let me get your Snapchat, let me get your Instagram, let me get your Facebook, so I can get to digital immediately. And then you guys will conversate digitally. It's my mindset that when you're in the talking phases, that the phone is on, that texting and all that jazz is only used to set up dates and times to hang out. When you're hanging out and you're spending time together, that's when you have those deep conversations. That's when you have a conversation with the person that you're interested in. You find out what they're interested in. You find out about them. You have conversations about their history, their past, what their future goals are, what their plans are, what they look for in a man or a woman. So you have those conversations. I don't think that you should be having those conversations over text message, personally. And I will always say that, number one, the phone, the only use of the phone in the beginning of the talking stages is to set up times to meet and then hang out. Then when you meet and hang out, then you can have all the conversations you want to, open and honest communication, and you learn about each other. But having constant text message, feeling like you have to be constantly connected to a person can lead to some unhealthy habits in a relationship. So I subscribe to that. The phone is only used for emergency purposes, as well as setting up times to meet and hang out and all that stuff. So roles have changed too. We kind of got into the 21st century, like 2010ish, 2015ish, right around there, and people started to change their view on men, and so now men are expected to be soft, sensitive. They don't want the masculine man like we were created to be. They don't want men to be warriors, men to be leaders. They don't want men to be masculine, essentially. They want men to be a little bit more feminine. And so that culture, that society that has been subscribed to, men are getting involved in it. So now men are actually doing that. Now you have more feminine men out here. And you're going to see that continue to grow. As society's made that change. They don't want men to be what we were created to be. And I talked about that in a prior podcast. What men were created to be, that's what we have to be. We got to be men out here. And that's from phase one, from the talking phase all the way through. So when you become a husband, a father, grandfather, all that jazz. So you, the role never changes. The things that you need to do never change. And so I think that consistency definitely helps there. So society has changed. And then even culturally, we've become a hookup culture, where men are looking for purity in women. Most men, that they don't want a chick that has had a whole lot of dudes. And then you also look at some of the issues that we have in the culture as far as single parent households. You got a lot of single moms out there, and to me that's an issue. So you got a lot of single moms out there, and then there's a lot of single men that don't want to be with somebody who already has kids. They don't want to be with somebody who has kids with somebody else, because there's nothing more thankless and hard than probably being a stepdad. I don't know, because I'm not a stepdad, but I know that there are men out there, and I've spoke to people that are in the situation, and they say it's hard. It's one of those things where it's an unhealthy dynamic that's created naturally. And so you have all these women out there with kids, and they got different baby daddies and all that jazz, and that stuff is glorified. And the stuff that we watch in social media, you had a hot girl summer and all that stupid crap. And so now you have your hot girl summers, and then you get together, you do all your thing, you go through your hoe phase or whatever you want to call it, and you've got kids, and now you're less pure. And so men are like, I don't want to date that. I don't want to be with that. So you have more single men. Because men don't want to be married to somebody else's problems, essentially. And so the culture has caused that. And then so now when you go into the dating pool and you're looking around and you're like, man, I want to settle down. So you've gone through your 20s, had some kids with a couple different dudes, and now you're in your 30s and you want to settle down. At that point in time, it's too late. By the time you hit your 30s, most men that are worth a damn are probably already married or taken. And so the culture that you subscribe to has now put you in a bind. And that's the thing you have to be careful with. But that's a problem in their culture. Our culture glorifies that crap. They glorify having a whole lot of dudes. It's empowering. They say that that's empowering. But what you realize is that while you're empowered in your 20s and in your early to mid to late 20s, you get into your 30s and that empowerment's gone, because eventually beauty fades, right? So whatever you build within yourself, whatever value that you add within yourself, that's what you got. So when that's all you have to put on the table and the beauty isn't all there, you can cover it up with makeup, but eventually the makeup got to come off. We're going to see what you really look like. And so when that is gone because you subscribe to the culture that we have out here in the world today, you don't get anything. So now you're left lonely, and you're still taking care of these kids, and you got a couple dudes that weren't worth a damn, that you probably shouldn't have opened your legs to in the first place. So now that's the father figures for these kids. So now when these kids grow up, then you're gonna have the same thing. It's like a cycle. Same thing happens to them because they don't have a good example, right? And so getting back to a culture that respects relationships and respects being pure, respects accountability, essentially, is something that has to happen. And if it doesn't happen, we're just continue this cycle. Even in my day-to-day job, I deal with a lot of kids that are in single parent households. Most of them are single women that have multiple kids, and then they'll say they have multiple dads, like there's step kids and all that jazz, all in the same household, right? They're getting paid though. The government's paying them. Child support. Hopefully, those dads are paying child support to the government. So it's like a paid job. The government has made it a paid job to be a woman and not have a man around. So the government is the father in that household. So the government's taking charge, right? That is an economic, and it's also a societal change that happened over the last, like, I'd say 3 to 4 decades. And so now that has happened, now women glorify that. They want to be able to just stay home, because a lot of them just stay home. Like, they stay home and the government pays them. So essentially our tax dollars is paying for that. And then it's a cycle that just keeps on going and going and going, until somebody takes a stand and makes a change. Now that affects relationships, because men don't want to date that. Like, nobody's going to be able to be with that type of person. Absolutely not. That's undesirable. I mean, first of all, like I said before, men don't want to be with somebody that already has kids. They want to have their own kids. That's the goal for most men that get in relationships. They want to have their own kids. If a man has kids, he wants to have his own. Now, are there men that love single moms? Yeah, there's probably men out there that definitely love single moms. Probably a little bit on the more sensitive and softer side, or pushover side. But a lot of your more dominant males, that's not their cup of tea. That's not something that they subscribe to. And so the culture change over the last 3 to 4 decades has caused that's an issue. Now let's talk about men. So cultural changes, and now men have become more sensitive, more feminine. So now we don't have that leadership culture. We don't have men that stand for something. We don't have protectors out there, because we were made to be protectors. That's the reason why we're built the way we're built. We are the protectors. We are the providers, right? And we don't have that mindset now. Now there's men out there that want women to provide for them. That's the most dumbest, most sensitive, you might as well be a female thing ever. Women do not provide for men. That is not your common, your average dude, your masculine average guy that understands his role, understands who he is as a man, is confident in himself as a man, is not going to let a woman provide for him. Now, your Xbox playing 24/7, Call of Duty or whatever the heck the games be that they be playing, those type of dudes will definitely let a woman provide for them. Yeah. And women like that, because some women want to be the provider. Some women want to take the role of men. And so when you have that happen, then you have the role reversals and the role switches. And it happens. Sometimes it works. Okay, if it works for you, it works for you. I don't personally subscribe to that type of mindset. And so as we're going through these changes, as men become less masculine, it's less of when you're in the talking phases. If you're a man, you should be taking charge. Obviously, you kind of lead the relationship, right? Women obviously control where it goes, how far it goes, where it goes, but men are leaders. We're the ones that make the moves, right? We're the ones that are used to rejection. We are used to it. That's because we were created with thick skin and have a heavy mindset, to where we can take rejection. So that's the reason why the man gets down on one knee and asks the woman to marry him. That's the reason why men typically set the dates in the beginning. So when you're courting your lady and you're out there and you're just, hey, I'm gonna pick you up. We're gonna go here. The date is paid for. I've never been one to expect a woman to pay for the date, or to pay for half the date, or whatever the kind of crap that I hear these sensitive ass dudes out here talking about. Men pay for the date. That's what we do. That's what we do. If you ask her out, you're paying for the date. If she asks you out, you're still paying for the date. You're the man. So be a man. At some point, we have to be men. And it's discouraging to see a lot of the young bucks out here subscribing to this BS. Dudes out here don't got a car. Their woman's driving them around. They're leaning back in the passenger seat, and their woman, so they pull up to the restaurant. She has to pay. I'm like, dude, if you ain't about shit, then go and figure some things out. Like, better yourself. Figure out how to better yourself, so we can be men. Because men have to start to be men again. If we want society to change, we want the culture to change, men have to start being men again. Not saying that all men are failing at that, but there are a conglomerate of men that aren't being men like we used to be, like we're created to be. Leaders, protectors, providers. That's what we were meant to be. And these dudes out here, that's glorified too. You see that in the rap culture. You see that on some of these movies, where men aren't being men. And if a man is being a man, then eventually, or most of the time, that will cause the feminine side of his woman to come out. So if your woman's super masculine, and it's probably because you're super feminine, like somebody in the relationship has to take charge. Somebody in the relationship has to be a little bit more dominant, like alpha, right? Somebody has to take that lead. There's always somebody driving a car. You can't just have the car moving by itself unless it's a Tesla and you might crash into some damn body. But somebody has to take the lead. And so if you're not going to take the lead because you're not manly enough to do it, you're not man enough for the job, then your woman's going to be man enough for the job for you. And then you're going to get drug along and you're going to feel like a little, I don't even want to say the word, starts with a B, ends with H, but that's what you're going to feel like. And then you're going to be mad because you feel like that when you weren't being a man like you're supposed to in the first place. So we need to step up. You know, we need to take charge as men. It is our job. We're the gatekeepers to culture and society. Changes happen. We can blame the Me Too or the feminists or whatever movement that you want to blame. Blame all of feminism. You can blame that too. But at the end of the day, men didn't have to change who they are. We can still be men in the face of adversity because that's what men were created to do. So when the adversity comes and people want to be super feminists and super this and that, and we're not, and we decide, we make the decision, okay, we're just gonna sit down and take it. No, we're men. Men stand up. Men stand for something, right? When you look at old kings, I'm gonna go biblical on you. King David, a lot of the kings, when I talk about them, these guys were just as skilled as the warriors. They were front line, 100%. David was out there doing what he had to do, slaying giants with his men. He was with his men on the front line. That's what a man is supposed to be. You're on the front lines. You're battle tested, and we take care of business. We can't let society and culture change who we are. We have to be who we are, so that way society and culture gets back into its place. If you can't be the placeholder, if you ain't willing to be the man. And so, as we continue to talk about relationships, if a man is a man in a relationship, the feminine side of his woman will come out. You can't expect your woman to be feminine if you ain't going to be a man. Somebody has to be the muscle. Somebody 100% has to be the muscle in the relationship. And so if you're a man and you're soft and sensitive and you don't want to do that and you want to play Xbox all day or whatever the jazz that you do, you don't want to go to work. You don't want to go make sure and provide for the family, for your woman. If you want to have kids, provide for your kids, provide for everybody because whoever is under you, under your leadership, you have to provide for them. That is your job as a man. You have to provide for them. And so when we get beside that and we change that, and then we let the government provide for us, then we're under the leadership of the government. And so now the government is in here taking over our homes, teaching our kids, changing our culture. When men, like myself, my brothers, guys I work with that I call my brothers, we're men. We take care of business. We handle business. I'm not saying a wife can't work. I'm not saying that your spouse can't work. I'm not saying that. You can both work, but still, you got to take care of business as a man. If you ain't out here hustling for your family to give them every single thing that they can possibly get that you think that they need, and then some more, then you're not being a man. 100% not being a man. And if we want to change the culture back and get society back in order, men have to be men first. We can't sit here and be like, I want my woman to do this, 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 and this. I want my woman to be more feminine. Well, why don't you be more masculine, and then maybe she will be more feminine. Be more manly, and then she'll trust me, a woman wants to be led. Most women want to be led. If you lead, she'll follow. Simple as that. Lead. Be leaders, be men. So, cultures change, obviously, over time, and now we got single mothers out here with a whole bunch of kids, and we got dads over here not taking care of their kids. That's a cultural problem. That's a cultural change. And it doesn't matter in what part of the culture you're involved in. It happens in all aspects of life. You can be a Catholic person, happens in the Catholic Church. You can be a Christian person, happens in the Christians. You can be a regular person that don't believe in nothing, happens in all walks of life. All walks of life are having the same problem because we all have subscribed in our minds to the same culture. So society is taken over and the culture is taken over. Who controls that? Not us. Most definitely not us. So, what happens to relationships when these things happen? Well, that's what we're going to talk about. So you start to look for some of these signs, right? People start to feel disrespected in their relationships. They feel like their needs aren't met. People start having a hard time communicating. Because when you come to the table to communicate, somebody's got to take the lead, right? Somebody's got to be a leader. We don't have that. We don't have that. In the absence of leadership, it's like a vacuum. Something will fill the void. Could be your kids, could be your spouse, could be the government. I mean, it could be any of those three things and fill the void. Could be somebody outside of your marriage, somebody outside of your relationship could fill the void. Because in the absence of leadership, the void has to be filled. It's like a vacuum. Something will suck up in there and fill that void. There's no room for voids when it comes to the family unit. No room for voids. Just like how the government came in and took over and said, we're going to teach your kids, we're going to take care of your kids, we're going to pay the bills for you. We're going to get you up out the way, we're going to pay the bills for you. There's a void. So when you take the man out the household, a void has to be filled. So the government filled that void. 100% filled that void. So you have a hard time communicating. Some people don't feel like they can live their life autonomously. People be like, I give more than I get. Dumb way to think about it. Let me speak on that. I give more than I get. Okay. So you're in a relationship and you're telling me that you're giving to get back. That's a cultural change, cultural problem. When we got into the 21st century, it became all about me, I, myself. And so now we're me, I, myself, and we're not in the same mindset of generosity and giving, right? The only place that people will give is to taxes, because you have to give taxes. People will give taxes all day, every day, 110%. I'm going to give taxes, right? What else? Where are other places that people give? Friends, family, to church. These are places that people give. So people net will give to the things that make them look good or make them feel good. But the problem is, in those instances when you're giving, you're expecting something back. So you're not really giving with the mindset of a gift. You're actually it's called a transaction. You pay for something, you get something back. It's a transaction. Or if you have to be told to do something. So it's like, I gotta pay, I gotta do this, I gotta put this money here. Or like taxes. We have to do that. So you can't actually call that giving, because you're not really giving. Because to me, in the mindset of giving, you give with no expectation of getting anything back. So in a relationship, you can't have the mindset of, I'm giving more than I'm getting. If you have the mindset in a relationship of, I'm giving more than I'm getting, you sound selfish. That sounds selfish to me. I'm giving more than I'm getting. It's like you're keeping score. Oh, if I give 1 and then she didn't give me none, so now I got 0. No, I gave 2, she got 0, so I gave 2. Now I'm up 2. No, it's not a football game. We're not keeping score. So the fact that people say that is crazy to me. Another thing I've heard from men, which disgusts me. Some people that have gotten divorced over the past couple of years, and I've kind of heard some of the reasoning why. I've heard men say, I just don't feel love feelings anymore. Just what on fucking earth is that supposed to mean? You don't feel love feelings anymore. If that don't sound feminine, I don't know what does. That sounds feminine as heck to me. And mama, I don't know. You guys can tell me if it's different. But for a man to say that, that's something I would expect a female to say, that they lost the love feelings. Men, we have to be emotionally intelligent. We don't make our decisions based on all the feelings. We have to be rational. So to say I lost all the love feelings is not being rational. That is being sensitive, extremely sensitive, to a point where you're saying, I'm going to leave my marriage because I lost some love feelings. It's pathetic. Like, if that's a reason for you to leave because you lost love feelings, then you wasn't working hard enough to begin with in the first place. Because love and respect go together, as we've spoken on, and it takes action. Action happens, so then you get those things. So that's pathetic. If you're a man out there and you're saying, I lost love feelings, slap yourself, because that's pathetic. Never want to hear that from a man's mouth for a reason for them to break up a marriage. I lost love feelings. No. That's something I would expect a woman to say. So if you're a man and you're saying that, you might need to let your balls drop a little bit. You don't feel valued. And now that's a real feeling. People cannot feel valued in a relationship. Yes, I agree. You can come, you can put everything in, and you can work hard, and a lot of what you do, men, a lot of what we do is thankless. We do a lot of thankless stuff. Yeah, we want a pat on the back every now and again. It feels good to just get a pat on the back. Yeah, hey man, I appreciate you. But a lot of what we do is gonna be thankless. As we do a thankless job. Fathers, we have a thankless job. I don't expect my kids to come and say, Dad, thank you very much for being my dad. No, I don't expect that from them. It's a thankless job. I don't need them to thank me for me to do what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm going to take care of my kids 110% because they're my kids. That is my responsibility. I am a man, M-A-N, right? Provider and protector. So I'm going to take care of my kids. It's a thankless job. And I will do that with every single ounce of energy that I have in me to the day I die. That's my job. That's what I'm supposed to do. I have a duty to take care of my kids. I don't expect my kids to give me back something in return. And no. When you got a spouse, right? You got a household, you got a spouse. I'm responsible for taking care of my spouse. I'm responsible for providing everything that my spouse needs to be able to succeed. It's my job. It's a thankless job, though. I don't expect anything in return. If you expect anything in return, it's a transaction you're not giving. If you expect something in return, it's a transaction, and you, my friend, you're not giving. So in the mindset of giving, you cannot need or want anything in return. You do it because that's what you were meant to do. That's who you are. That's part of your character. Resentment in relationships. You start to resent your partner. So a lot of this cultural stuff going on, you didn't got in a relationship now, and you're with somebody that already had kids before you. You guys have a kid now, so you got, let's say we have 3 kids. 2 of the kids aren't yours, 1 of the kids is yours, right? You're married to this person now. So now you're in a committed relationship with this person, and you got some resentment. You got some resentment because as a man, you didn't talk about what you needed to talk about in the beginning of the relationship. Now we're here. So you didn't want to talk about it because you were afraid. Men, we got to be fearless out here. You got to ask the questions, and you got to be open and honest about what your expectations are. As men, we have to be open and honest about what our expectations are. I would advise women to do the same thing. Be open and honest about whatever your expectations are. Be clear with them from the beginning. That's how you cure some of these ills that the culture has placed upon us. Now, you can have kids, and that's fine. You already got kids, and this guy wants to be with you. Y'all can be together. But make sure that you guys lay the ground rules down first before you get into a committed relationship. That way you don't have problems down the road that you didn't expect. Now you're trying to stuck fixing these problems, and now you're married. Now it takes a lot more to get out of that commitment than for you guys to have had those conversations in the beginning. All the work for the foundation is done in the beginning. If you don't make the foundation in the beginning, then you build a house out of straw and it's going to get blown down. So the foundation starts in the beginning. And so understanding the culture and society that we're in, that's why we have to communicate better, so that way we establish the foundation from the jump. You become passive aggressive. So in some of these situations, passive aggressive happens a lot more passive than anything. You might not conversate, you guys might not talk to each other, but then you can get the passive aggressive jabs, right? Those happen. Those are symptoms of an ill. Those are symptoms of a problem. There's so many toxic relationships out there with these problems because culture and society has done so much in our brains, and we've gone so far away from what we need to be that now it's like trying to get back to it is just hard work. Somebody has to steer the ship back in the right direction. Sometimes you forget to feeling attacked and unsupported in your relationship. You get to feeling like, man, I just feel attacked. I feel personally attacked. Like this person is personally attacking me. What you have to ask yourself in those situations when those times happen is it an attack on me, or is it an opportunity for me to take personal responsibility and be accountable for what I do? Because sometimes a personal attack on you sounds like a personal attack on you, but that person telling the truth. If they telling the truth about you and you upset about it and you're angry, sometimes take a step back, look in the mirror. Depression and anxiety in relationships on a high level. Some of you out there probably feel like you can't be yourself with your partner. You want to know how you fix that? Be yourself with your partner. And understand this, that your partner is going to have the decision if that's good enough for them or not. By the end of the day, if you're not healthy, walking in your own shoes, how can you expect them to respect you anyway? You got to respect yourself first, right? Respect who you are as a person, respect your boundaries, respect what you've been called to do, and do it. And then if your partner don't like it, then your partner don't like it. But you're going to go out being you, walking in your own shoes. If it's a size 10, put them on. If it's a size 11, put them on, lace them up, let's go. Walk in your own shoes. So as I'm giving you the issues, I'm giving you ways to fix these issues and to fix these problems. The problems that exist because of we have succumbed to societal changes and cultural changes, and it's affecting dating and relationships. Marriage used to be an important thing. It used to be held to a high level. Man, it's like almost like they put it on a pedestal. Like it was high level. Like you wanted to get married. That was a goal, right? But now that the government's watered it down, just like they watered down everything else, it's not as desirable as it once was. As men, we have to understand that we are the gatekeepers. We are the ones that were put here to protect, provide, right? Those are the provisions that we have to do. So we are the gatekeepers. So if you want to have a certain type of relationship, you got to be a man, 100%. In the beginning, men are expected to pursue. I expect you to pursue. That's your job. You're supposed to pursue the woman that you want. She doesn't need to be chasing you. There's so many dudes out here on this garbage mindset, this simple man mentality, this feminine man mentality, this sensitive dude, soft, S-O-F capital T, soft mentality that say that you need to make a woman chase you. That's about the dumbest crap I've ever heard in my life, because men value to chase. Real men value to chase. We want to chase because that adds value to what we are as a man. That adds value to us getting that. So when you get the woman that you done chased and put all this work in, trust me, you're going to put all the work in to keep her. You make somebody chase you, you're not going to put the work in to keep them. That person that chased you, whoever does the chasing, is going to put the work in to keep things pushing. That's why men court women. That's the reason why men court women. We put the work in. We are the ones that build value. That is our job. As we create value, we desire somebody to help maintain the things that we have created. That's where women come in. We desire somebody who can help us because we need help. We weren't created to be alone, obviously. If that was the case, it would be nothing but dudes on the earth. And there's definitely more women than there are men on the earth as of right now. I think that was a lot. The last I heard, that was a couple of years ago from the Census Bureau. And so we weren't created to just be down here building value. We were created to build value so that we can find a partner to help us maintain that value and then help us build it further. Because once you maintain a level of value, you can build some more. That's what we were created to do. But society has told us that we have to be soft, we have to be sensitive. Society doesn't like kings like David. Society definitely does not like kings like David. Society is against that type of person. Because if you have strong-willed men in society, the government can't control it. If you have strong-willed men in society, the government can't control it. So it's good to have strong-willed men out here. We have to have them. That is what's going to change our culture back to what it needs to be. Somebody has to be the gatekeeper. Somebody has to be the protector. And that's what men were created to do. And so understanding these things will help us gain back the type of relationships that we desire, type of relationships that we used to have. That will help us gain those things back. But we have to start doing these things first. We have to start putting these things in motion. As a man, we can't expect somebody to do something before we do it. We got to start doing it first. We got to take charge. We got to handle business. You should never expect your partner to do something before you do it. Take the lead as a man, be a man, and do what you're supposed to do. If you want to build and prosper, you want to build a home. Don't go tell your partner to work more. Hey, I need you to work more so we can build a home. No, you start working more, and then your partner going to see that you're working harder, you're putting in more effort, then your partner going to follow. Hey, he working hard, so he must be on to something. Hey, babe, what you on? Oh, I want to build a house. I want to build a house too. I see you working, so I'm going to go work just as hard as you. Put the muscle down, put the hustle in, go get it done. And then guess what? Your partner will come along with you. Your partner will start to ask questions. Man, why are you working so hard? Why are you out here busting your butt? I got goals. Tell them your goals. Men, tell your woman what your goals are. Tell them what your goals are. Who's going to assist you in getting there? Probably your woman. So tell her what your goals are. Be open and honest. Communicate what your goals are. What you wanting. What do you want out of life? Where does your lives go from here? Because at the end of the day, you're trying to build something, right? What you're building, society and cultural stuff is trying to tear it down. So whatever you build has to be strong. And the only way for it to be strong is that you have the person who's building it in sync with the person that's helping maintain it. Those two things go together. Like love and respect. Those two things go together like love and respect. You have to be of the same mindset that this is what we're doing. This is how we're going to get it done. And guess what? This is the goal. This is the path. And we're going to get there. So culture and society affecting dating and relationships. So now you've contended with she's already got kids or he's already got kids. You're contending with the government trying to intervene. What are some other things that we see that are causing rifts in relationships because of cultural and societal changes? Social media causing a lot of rifts and problems in relationships because it's too much out there to get you in trouble. People will break up and go through phases, and they'll be on all these apps and swiping left, right, up, down, side to side, or what the heck ever it is that y'all do, doing all that jazz, right? So they'll go through this phase where they wanted freedom. A lot of people want freedom. They're like, I just want to be free. So they'll mess up, they'll leave the relationship, they'll get some freedom, and then they'll have their freedom for a little bit, and then they're like, all right, I'm ready to settle down. And when you're ready to settle down, ain't nobody ready to settle down with you because they just want the freedom that you was given. So you was given all this freedom doing what you was doing. Now they just want, that's what they want. They don't want to settle down. They don't see a future with you. They never did. Nobody ever did. The person that saw a future with you, you were already with. and you gave that person up because you wanted to be free, and now you're going to be free. And you might have a lifetime of freeness ahead of you. It's a possibility. But you have succumbed to the mindset of the culture. Let's talk about divorces for a second. People get divorced and do the dumbest crap that you can possibly do. So you know that you're splitting hairs as far as money goes, and people that get divorced will go buy the dumbest crap ever. I'm going to go buy something I can't afford because I got divorced. As a gift. So basically what they're doing is gifting a failure. So I'm going to gift a failure. I failed to keep my marriage going, so I'm going to give myself a gift. Basically trying to plug a wound. And then you end up in debt. Can't pay for whatever it is that you bought. It could be a house, it could be a car, it could be anything. Can't pay for whatever it is you got. And now you're in debt. And now you want another person to help you get out of that. When you should have never been in that in the first place. Or people with multiple marriages out here. People that marry multiple times. Multiple times. The value of marriage goes down each time you do it. Marriage is not dating. You don't just break up and then move on to the next person. It's got a lot more value than that, guys. And I think that we need to bring the value of marriage back. People think it's like boyfriend, girlfriend out here. It's not. It's not like boyfriend, girlfriend. You don't just get divorced just because I lost love feelings, like some dudes say. Most pathetic garbage I've ever heard come out of a man's mouth is, I lost love feelings. It's pathetic. And so we're here. And now, divorce rates continue to skyrocket. People don't value marriage anymore. The divorce is so easy. It's expensive, but it's easy. I've heard it's expensive as heck. It's easy to get, though. You just got to file some paperwork and then fight it out in front of a judge, and then blah, 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 you're done. And then they go after that and like, I'm going to buy something stupid. And then they buy something stupid. Or they just go have a whole bunch of sex partners after that because they wanted freedom. But freedom comes at a cost. What is freedom going to cost you? The opportunity to have a life with a partner is what happens most of the time. And so you go through all these dudes and you collect all this baggage, or you go through all these females, you collect all this baggage, you bring it into your next relationship. Now the person that you're with got to deal with all the baggage that you picked up along the way because you wanted to be free. Never leave something and then spend the rest of your life chasing what you already had because you had it in your hand. You fumble it. If you fumble it, guess what you're going to be doing? Chasing it. And some of you people are out here chasing it when you had it in the first place. It was in your hands in the first place. Somebody loved you unconditionally. Somebody gave you everything that you needed. But you found a flaw. You said, this one thing right here that you're not doing for me is enough for me to leave. It's enough for me to bounce. You're missing this one thing. You can have a 98% good dude or good woman in your life, and because of 2%, you became selfish and start thinking about yourself. So now that right there is the reason why you left. So now you left and you're out here just chasing your tail like a dumb dog. I'm just going to chase my tail back and forth. Guess what? You'll never catch it because you already had it. It's yours. It was there in your hands and you fumble it. So divorces become like breakups in our new culture and society. It's literally like breakups. The value of marriage isn't there. The value of being a man isn't there. The value of being a woman, like women being women and what makes them desirable, isn't there anymore. And so the divorce rate is high. And if you ever pay attention to what people do after they divorce, pay attention to them, what people do after they divorce. Some people will change their look. And a lot of times people will change their look because they hate who they are as a person. They hate themselves. So they'll change their look. Like I said, they'll buy something crazy. sleep around a lot, just everywhere, every chance they possibly can, right? Because they're trying to fill a hole that they put in themselves. So you basically stab yourself in the heart, and you're using all this crap out here in the world to try to fix it. When honestly, you got to fix yourself. At the end of the day, you have to fix yourself because you created this problem because you succumbed to the culture that we have out here. So now the culture didn't got in your head, and you think that you're this when you're really not that. You're just you. And so now you didn't let the culture take away everything that you had. Maybe you should shut off the TV and put your phone down every now and again, and maybe read the Bible. Maybe talk to God. Because through him, all things are definitely possible. And I know he didn't create this crap. This crap that we got going on in America, this crap that we got going on around the world now, he didn't create none of that. That was not created by him. That was created by humans, by dummies. You see what happens when dummies create stuff. When dummies lead, when you got dummies leading, dummies follow. Man, the divorce rate is crazy. It's high. It's high as hell. High as heck. And then after that, like, you want to get married again. I just kind of, why would you want to get married? You didn't even value the marriage in the first place. Think about why you left, or think about why you're thinking about leaving. So if you're thinking about leaving, think about it. Why are you wanting to leave? It's probably some dumb stuff. Now, are there some legit reasons? Abuse? Yes, there's a lot of legit reasons, absolutely, positively. If your man is being sensitive and soft and he's beating his woman, yeah, that's just a soft ass fucking dude. If a woman's cheating on her man, yeah, that's just a attention needing woman. Like, that's just what it is. A lot of times that's what happens. Lack of attention. Oh, he doesn't give me enough attention, so you gotta go get attention elsewhere. If you can't give yourself attention, that's a problem. Typically, low self-esteem people do that. Can't give themselves attention, so you gotta go get attention elsewhere. Cultural and societal problems that have caused issues in relationships. Caused breakups, caused a lot of single mothers to have a whole lot of kids, taken care of by themselves. Men are in jail. I've seen this firsthand. I've talked to kids whose fathers are in jail, and they just got their mom. That's it. And these kids are angry. They are angry. They are angry. The culture and society took that person's dad away from them. Dad made some terrible decisions, and now who's to suffer? Who's suffering the consequences of that man's terrible decisions? His kids. And his woman, his ex or his current or whatever it may be. Because now she's out here by herself trying to do it. And now she has to go find a partner. So she's looking for a partner, and she finds another guy that's like you. Somebody who doesn't want to go work a 9 to 5, put on that collar, go to the factory, wherever it may be. You want to sell drugs or you want to do this dumb stuff, right? Because the culture shows you that's cool. It's an easy way to make money, right? You see the rap videos come out. You see the TV shows that come out. They show prosperity in doing dumb crap. They teach us that doing dumb crap can get you to prosper. That's stupid. That's something that you should not subject your mind to the dumb stuff out here that you see on TV, to the stuff that you see on Facebook, to the stuff that you see on Instagram, TikToks, people saying, oh my gosh, I learned this from TikTok. If you don't go freaking read a book and learn some stuff from a book and get the heck out of here with that mess, stupid. Just absolutely stupid. And so society and cultural stupidity has brought us to this point. I think we're at the climax, personally. I think that we're at the tipping point where something has to happen. And like I said earlier, men have to be men. We have a job, we have a duty to be men, and we got to be men. We got to step up and be men. If we want to put the pieces back together, we got to step up and be men. It starts with us. We can't expect women to fix what is broken. It is our job as men to fix what is broken. If we are leaders, we are protectors, we are providers, we will fix the problem. We will fix what's broken, but it's up to us to do it. We have to man up and do what the hell we're supposed to be doing. And right now, we're not doing that. Too many men want to hide behind a woman and have her do it all. Too many men don't want to take charge, lead, and stand on something. We have to stand for something. We have to stand on something. Whatever it is that you value, whatever it is that's important to you, you have to stand on that as a man. You start standing on some stuff and see what happens. I bet you can move mountains. Because together as men, when you have men that get together, that have the same mindset, that say, we're going to take care of business. Those men in the biblical days won wars, slayed giants. That's what they did. Because when you do the work that you're supposed to do, you got that man upstairs backing you 100%. And when he backs you, it's going to get done. But it's not going to get done if we continue down the path that we're continuing down. Where you got people taking relationship advice from people that aren't in a relationship. You got people that taking parenting advice from people that don't have kids. It doesn't make sense. But that's what society's come to. It's about clout. It's about celebrityism, all the isms and schisms out there. That's what it's about. The society's become about these things. And so it's affected our relationships. It's affected our home life. It's affected work life. It's affected all aspects of life. So we get back by taking charge. We get back by handling business. We get back by doing what we're supposed to be doing. We get back by forming the hierarchy the way it was created to be. That's how we get back. You do what the Creator created you to do, and guess what happens? Things start to work right. If the Creator made the engine to the car, and we're like, man, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to do this, this, and this to the engine. So you'd have modified the engine, right? Now the engine breaks down and doesn't work. Because you chose to go off course. You go off course and it ain't going to work. You got to stay on course. And so with all the levels of toxic relationships out here, all the levels of divorce rates out here, all the levels with the single parent homes going on out here, we have a cultural and societal problem, and it is causing havoc and wreaking havoc on our relationships. And nobody's wanting to fix it. Because we're all self-help oriented. Everybody wants to self-help. It's crazy. I want self-help. Let me read the self-help book. Let me listen to the self-help podcast. Even at church, self-help. It's all self-help. Most everything in society is just self-help stuff. And so we have to get back to our customs, our values, our morals. And we have to get back to men taking charge. Men leading, right? Men have to lead. We were created to be leaders. We are leaders. It is within me to lead. That's the reason why everywhere I've been a leader, because that's in me. That's embedded in me. That's in my DNA as a man, is to lead, provide, protect, love. If we can get back to those things, then we can start to right the ship. We can start to right the ship. But it starts with us taking a stand. It starts with us taking responsibility for why we are here as a society, as a culture. We let it get here. As men, soft ass men, we let it get here. We allowed us to go to this point where it's just out of whack, out of control out here. I see it every day with my job, my work. So I live in it 40 hours a week. And so, yeah, I can definitely speak on it because I live in it. I've seen it. So in closing, men be men, step up, take charge, protect, provide, lead, right? Women continue to maintain, continue to push, continue to strive, continue to try to better yourself. And if you are a single mom, take care of your kids. Put your kids first. Your kids should be number one in your eyes. They came out of you. They are number one in your eyes. Don't be out here chasing men. Absolutely not. The right man will come to you when the time comes. When you're ready, because you've taken time to better yourself, the right man will come to you. If you've recently gotten divorced and you're going through your little whatever phase, hoe phase, whatever you're going to call it, get up out that phase, first of all, because you're just taking on a bunch of people's baggage that you don't want. But spend time in solidarity and work on yourself. Spend time in solidarity by yourself. Work on yourself. Better yourself. Make yourself better for your kids. Chasing men ain't gonna get you anywhere, because if you're chasing men, you hold zero value if you're a woman and you're out here chasing dudes. Zero value. And trust me, dudes see it. We're not idiots. We see it. You are to be chased, not to be chasing. So get that up out your head. If you're out here chasing men and you're a woman, remember that. You are to be chased and not to be chasing. And then respect each other, love each other, value each other. And that's how we will get things back, set back in motion. And so that's all I got on this topic about society and cultural changes, how it's affected dating and relationships and families, homes. And so my hope is that as we continue to go down this road and talk about the things that people don't want to talk about, ruffle some feathers. Hopefully we do ruffle some feathers. If you're not ruffling feathers, you're not doing it right. If everybody agrees with what you're doing, then that's because you're doing what everybody wants you to do. And we're not here to do what everybody wants us to do. We're going to talk about what needs to be talked about in the 5. That is our goal, to have an impact at some point. Maybe we impact one life. If I impact one life through my podcast, then I've done what I came to do. I don't need to get anything out of it. This is just me based on life experiences, things that I've learned from people that I know. I've been to a couple different jobs, so I've got some experiences in different fields. And so I just use what I know personally and some things I've been through, some faults that I have, some issues that I've had to work through as a man. I came to that feminine mindset, and then I had to start getting myself back. I was like, I can't, that's not me. I wasn't created to be that type of dude, so I'm going to have to start working myself back. And so that's what I did. Start working myself back. I started to listen to men who are masculine. Men who want us to be men. Hearing them speak on what a man is, I agree with it. It resonated with me. And so that's how I was able to get myself back to this point, get myself here where I can speak about these things today. Old me was arrogant because I lacked confidence. The old me was didn't know how to speak. The old me believed in some dumb stuff. And now that I've kind of start to see that those ways don't work, I've had to make those changes to better myself as a man too. Because if I'm going to be telling y'all to better yourselves as men, I better damn well be doing it myself too. And so we will work together to get better at this thing. We will work together to make relationships last longer, to bring back the value of marriage, bring back the value of having a 2-parent household, male and female in the household, men taking care of business as fathers, women taking care of business as mothers. Ain't nothing better than a mom, I can tell you that from experience. Nothing on earth is stronger than a mom either. Moms are the most strongest individuals that you will ever meet. When you talk about strength and personal strength, moms is where it's at. And so we will get back to those things, guys. But it's going to take time. It's going to take effort. And it's going to take us having communication about it. So again, as I always say, if you like our content on the Vibe podcast, please like our stuff, comment, any topics that you want us to talk about. We will definitely talk about them. Share our stuff, subscribe to our channel. We're going to keep pushing. We're early on in 2024, and we're going to keep rising in 2024, guys. That's all I got for you today. This is GT. Again, I'm out.